Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing?
doing good.
All right. But we are going to get started in just a minute. Of course, you know, the Wi-Fi is not the best with all the e-learning. Um, so let's get started here in just a second. We have our guests on and ready. So let me mute all and we're going to get started. And so we can clear the lines. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Black Junior Podcast, Junior Golf Podcast. My name is Ro Thompson, and I'm your host of the podcast. I want to thank everybody for getting on the podcast tonight. Man, we got some special guests lined up tonight. You are not going to believe. But any event, before we get things kicked off tonight, I just want to say that we're getting ready to get into our fall season. A lot of the summer tours are winding down, and we're jumping right into fall golf. And I hope everybody's had a good summer, and hopefully you all are all set to do some really big things in the fall. So to kick us off tonight, we have Jamie Taylor, who's going to share some information, and she's from the Black Golf Directory, and she's going to share some things with us tonight. So, Jamie, are you there? All right. Do we have Jamie on? Yes, we have Jamie.
I'm here.
Hey, Jamie.
I'm here.
Hey,
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself.
You didn't
Yes.
forget about me, did you?
Say what?
I said you didn't forget about me, did you?
Of course not.
All right.
Sorry for the weirdness of my background, but anyways, thanks for having me on, Ro. As always, I know I'm becoming a regular on this show. Yeah. I just came to just announce my current event that's going on, a virtual career fair, something that we've never done before, and it's going on right now. Basically, it's a 6-week career fair where I am promoting major golf companies, specifically PGA Tour, PGA of America, LPGA, AJGA, USGA, Youth on Course, and am I missing somebody? No, that's it. And so the reason for this is because what I've realized, and you guys, I know a lot of you guys have young kids and they're probably just looking to play golf. But I grew up the same way, thinking my only options were to play golf or work at a golf course, because that's all I saw was go to the golf course and play or go to the golf course and work. It wasn't until long after I really graduated college that I even learned about internships that existed at the major golf companies in the business side, as well as, and now I'm finding out there's some for high schoolers. So I figured it'd be good information for other people to know, especially in the Black community. And these companies have agreed to work with me in doing a special webinar just to educate people of color, specifically Black people, on these opportunities, because there's really not a lot of us applying for these opportunities. I know that personally, working at LPGA, and it just makes it that much harder for us to get into the corporate side of golf, which is what, you know, my objective is for us. So I know they take them as young as 14 at the Youth on Course, 14 to 18. So high schoolers can do caddy program, internships as well. And then a lot of them take 18 and 21 plus. So, and sometimes even people who are out of school. So I would just say, if you want to register, I'm going to put the link in the chat. It's free. You get like a pre-packaged webinar every Monday that you can watch for about 45, 60 minutes with me and a former intern. And then you can share it with whoever you want via email. And also I've been promoting it on the Black Junior Golf group, just so you guys can get a taste and see as to what these awesome former interns have said about their experience. So yeah, just want to let you know that if you haven't joined, you can still join. And then I'll also be sending out reminders once a month through the end of the year of the application dates, because the applications are open for most of them right now for this coming spring and summer. So you don't want to wait till May to apply for these because they've already filled the positions. You want people to apply now to get the spring or summer opportunity. So that's my spiel. Thank you, Ro. If you have any questions, you can also. I don't know if I froze or.
Yeah, I'm froze. Yeah, I'm back. Can everybody hear me okay? Can you hear me, Jamie?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
I hear you.
Yeah. So Jamie, thank you so much for that information. And Jamie, what did you say the age range is for those interns?
So Youth on Course, which we're promoting this week, takes 14 to 18. So they're specifically targeting high school kids. And this is for PADI program as well as internships at golf courses.
Okay.
And then the rest of them take either 18 and up or 21 and up.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Appreciate that, Jamie. Any questions for Jamie from the Black Golf Directory? Any questions for Jamie? You can unmute, guys. And if you have any questions for Jamie, she's right here.
I should mention they're all paid.
Oh, that's even better.
Yes.
Good.
Hey, Jamie, this is Anthony Bradley. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing, Anthony?
Not bad. Well, being up north, Rochester, New York, I'm quite sure most of those intern programs are down south. Anything up north near upstate New York?
Yeah. So USGA, for example, they call the Fellows program, and they are at the actual associations. So they're all wherever they have a USGA association, which I think is every state. They have their fellowship, and then certain internships like AJGA, they travel. So it doesn't matter where you're from; you're going to be traveling, unless you do an internship at their actual facility in Atlanta. Their internships are traveling internships anyway. They go with the actual AJGA tour.
Oh, okay, great. Because one thing I did with my son is I wanted him to just volunteer, do community service with like the First Tee, because they started that up here. You know, I mean, he's an elite golfer. He's like 13 now. You know, he's won lots of awards in this area, well known. And so that was an opportunity for him to just give back, you know, and also see a different part of golf, you know, from a teaching perspective, and also just social interaction, you know, during this COVID time, of course.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think AJGA also accepts volunteers. I know that's probably something he competes in, but I think they accept volunteers as well.
Okay, because there's a Rochester District Golf Association here, and I'm thinking they are probably linked to that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Anthony, for that question. Any other questions for Jamie? Any other questions for Jamie? Black Golf Director.
Yeah, I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
Being that my son Joshua, you know, he's pretty much he's the only Black up here in upstate New York. Well, at least in Rochester, that is. Is there, and I've talked with a few Black golfers up here, and thinking of a way, how can we reach the inner city, right? The kids who have no idea about golf, but however, expose them to it, right? There's the First Tee program, but you know, what's a way in which we can maybe add a Black flavor to it per se, you know? And so is there any initiatives or opportunities? Say if I come up with a concept, which I do have a concept, where we could put something in the park, like in parks they have basketball goals, tennis courts, and all of that, right? So imagine you had like a station that's like a golf station, right? In terms of like a hitting net, but you set it up, and I'm being kind of creative here. You set it up where it's a game, where it's not a real ball per se. It could be a plastic ball, but you got a real club, but it's set up where only thing you need is just a club. So now that kid can go to that park and play basketball, tennis, baseball, football, whatever, as well as hit some balls, right? So is there anything that exists, or is there any type of initiative to reach out to the inner city, right?
Yeah, so great question. I recently learned First Tee actually does have a program they just rolled out. I can't remember specifically the name because I don't work for First Tee, but we could probably ask either your local or call the headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
But the program is designed for people like you who want to do a program like you said, in a non-traditional golf setting. I believe it does cost, but they provide you like snag equipment and things you need, as well as curriculum use at that location, so you don't have to do it at a golf course. So I do know that First Tee has that already existing. So I would just say, look into that. Just contact your local First Tee, and they'll give you. They'll probably know the concept. I forget the name, but there's some type of outreach program they set up for people that don't have to be golf professionals to do that. But to be honest, the real answer to that question is we need more Black pros. I think people that teach like me, I mean, I don't teach right now, but people who teach, we obviously care about our people, right? So the more of us, the more we will have those opportunities. And so, that's something I'm working on a higher level, is trying to there are people already doing something like this. And if you go on the Black Golf Directory website, there's a lot of junior programs on there that you can probably contact, and they may actually already be implementing that type of thing as well.
Okay. And one other thing, because I love the Black junior golfers and just the Black Golf Alliance, is, and I'm thinking, does the Black Golf Directory, here's a scenario. I typically drive from Rochester to New Orleans during the holidays, right? And I always stop in different cities like Atlanta, Cincinnati, Louisville, Kentucky. And so do they have any Black, when I'm thinking if I'm there, now give a shout out, which now I can use the Facebook page, say, hey, I'm in Atlanta. My son is here. I want to let's meet up with some other kids, other Black junior golfers to play 18. Yeah. Right. So I'm thinking along that line because I love watching kids on Facebook, just saying, and I use it for my son to have him see, hey man, look, there's someone look like you, a young kid playing golf, and so it gets me motivated, it gets him motivated. And so now it's just, having that opportunity to hook up with some of the young Black junior golfers.
Hey, Jamie, let me jump in here real quick. And Anthony, just wanted to let you know, the BGA, we're currently working on an app to connect everybody across the country. So that way, like you just said, if you're in town and you want to set up a round, whether it be a junior or whether it be a grown up, we're in the process of setting up an app.
Right. Okay. Yep. Great. Okay.
All right.
That's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's good. All right. Any other questions for Jamie? Any other questions? All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh, go ahead, James.
Jamie. Hey, everybody. I guess my question is, one of the things you guys mentioned is kind of segue to get more diverse in the game. And I think most people know oftentimes some of the best players that
y'all hear James?
Used to be cat.
And he's breaking up.
Hey, James,
right?
you're breaking up, James. Hey, James.
Is there anything within
we might be breaking up on his end too. James, you hear us?
Just
I can
work
hear you,
for the kids to where they can become caddies.
Yeah, Jamie, that's what happens when you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Is it any better?
All right. I think he's still breaking up. Jamie, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
No, James, you're going in and out.
Can you hear me?
James, try to
Can
log.
you guys hear me now?
No, it's still going in and out. Try to go out, James, and come back in. Okay. Okay. I think that's what he did. All right. So, Jamie, thank you so much. We're gonna head over to our next guest speaker. Thank you so much for always being on and supporting the Black Junior Golf podcast. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And I put the link in the chat for everybody that if you want to access that.
Gotcha. So if you need to access what Jamie just posted, guys, just hit the chat button. You can copy and paste, hit the link, and it'll go right to her spot. Okay. All right. So let me get my next guest out. Hey, Jamie, if you'll stay on, I think James has a question for you, and we'll be able to get to that in just a few minutes. But I want to get my first guest speaker on tonight. Our first guest speaker, you all, comes to us from Maryland. This young lady is on a fast pace to high level NCAA golf. She's ranked number 22 on the Golf Week Junior rankings. She's a 3-time Maryland state champ. She's already committed to the University of Tennessee. And so her current handicap is a 2, and we are so excited to have none other than Bailey Davis. Hey, Bailey, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Hey, good to have you on the podcast tonight.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Good to have you on. Well, listen, I talked to your Uncle John, and I said, John, I got to get Bailey on. I see her playing. She's an incredible player. And John said, okay, well, let me get in contact. And here you are. So Bailey, tell us a little bit about how you got into the game of golf.
So my grandfather actually got me started. Neither of my parents play. My mom plays a little bit, but it was my grandfather on my mom's side. He took me over to the range one day. Continued to play. I didn't really like it at first, but my parents kind of told me I had to keep playing, so I did, and then I ended up loving it.
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome, Bailey. So Bailey, next question. So what are some of the things that you do? What do you think some of the things that you did coming up in the game of golf that gave you that little edge to be a great player?
The things that I already have or the things that I will need?
Oh, say that again, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Do you mean the things that I already have or the things that I'll need to?
No. As you were coming up in golf, as you were coming up in the game of golf, what do you think that gave you that little edge to turn you into a beginning golfer to now a great golfer? Was it practice? Was it the mental? What was it that gave you that little edge to be a great player?
It was definitely practice. When I was younger, I didn't like to practice. I didn't like golf at all. You know, I wanted to do other things like soccer and gymnastics and all the other things that other little girls were doing, not golf. So I think what really changed my mentality was when I went to the U.S. Kids Championship at Pinehurst, because it's just like, it's an amazing atmosphere. You meet kids from all over the world, and then you see how competitive it is. You see all the kids that are so much better than you, and you see that you want to get better for yourself. So I feel like once I started playing more competitive tournaments like that, then I really wanted to get better. So then it was all about the practice, because practice is so essential for golf, you know.
And what age were you at Bailey, when you got a chance to go to the U.S. Kids in Pinehurst?
I think my first one was when I was either 9 or 10. I think I did that for about 3 years, I want to say.
Right. And that's when it turned for you?
Yeah, I mean, I started to like it a little bit, but once I started to maybe 12, when I started to get really a lot better, then I think was when I started to love it, you know?
Good. And so Jamie, you bring up a good point about, you know, when it really turned for you. and golf is a mental sport, and it's physical, but it's also mental. It's more mental than anything. What would you recommend to some of our juniors to really help with the mental part of the golf of golf?
I've noticed a lot with younger kids is that when they hit a bad shot, they get so caught up on that bad shot. It's one bad shot and it's the end of the world.
Right.
So I feel like it's mainly about, especially because, at that younger age, like at US Kids, you can have a caddy.
Right.
So if your parent's your caddy or a family friend is your caddy, I would say, you hit a bad shot, try to calm them down. Right. If you hit a bad shot, it's not the end of the world. If you get upset over a bad shot, it's just going to make your hole a lot worse. So I would just say, after hitting a bad shot, you just have to think about how you can make that next shot better. Or if you have a bad hole, you have to think about how can I make this next hole better.
Okay, that's good, because golf is mean. I always like to describe golf as a mean sport. I was watching the NCAA today, and there was a young lady who was at about 7 under for the college championship. I think it's a SEC.
Brooke Matthews.
Yeah, and she hit the ball, like almost went out of bounds, and then it, and it was just a complete lapse on a hole. But golf is a tough sport, and it's definitely mental. So Bailey, what do you do to prepare for a tournament? When you're going into a tournament, what do you do to prepare that particular week or particular 2 weeks?
I usually just make sure that my swing is set. I'll see my coach. We're not gonna change anything about my swing. We just want to make sure that I'm feeling comfortable and confident in my swing. Because changing, even a minor change going into a tournament, I don't think that's a very good idea. You want to feel confident going into every tournament that you're playing, and I feel like that's key. So leading up to a tournament, I would say I try to play a lot just to kind of get used to it. Obviously, before the tournament, I play about 1 to 2 practice rounds just to kind of get the feel of the course. And then really, I tell myself how good I am. Going into a tournament, you have to be confident. That's key. So that's normally what I do. Sometimes I get really, really nervous, but I just have to remind myself, who I am and what I've done, and that I'm a good player.
Good. And so, you bring up a lot of good points, Bailey, because you're not going to have a great day of golf all the time. What do you tell yourself, Bailey, when you're having a bad day? You know the bad day is here. It's, you just maybe push the shot or pull the shot. What do you tell yourself, Bailey, when you're having a bad day?
I just remind myself that if I get upset about it, it's not going to get any better. I usually have a really positive attitude on and off the golf course, so I feel like my attitude is really good. So if I hit a bad shot, it's my mentality is, okay, how can I make this next shot better? It's not, oh my God, I just hit a bad shot. I think Tiger has that 10-step rule where it's 10 steps and then it's over with. So I try to keep that in my mind. If it's a bad day, I just have to remind myself, they happen. I had that this summer. I had one awful round that, but it didn't define who I was. I was super upset about that round. And my coach had to remind me, this is not who you are. You've proved time and time again, this isn't who you are. So I feel like I just have to remind myself, whether it's during the round or after the round, that I'm a much better player than that, and that I just have to stay positive and move forward.
What did you shoot that day?
So the only time I shot over 74 this summer was that time, and it was an 80.
Okay.
Like I tripled the first hole, and then it just went downhill from there.
Okay. All right. So Bailey, what's your favorite course that you've played so far?
I would say I like going down to Palm Beach to play PGA National. That's always a lot of fun.
Nice.
But I really like Stanford's golf course. I played an AJGA Invitational out there last summer.
Okay.
And I did really well out there. I really like the course. I really like the layout. I feel like it really favors the long hitter, and that's what I am. Yeah. So it really worked out well for me.
Good. How far what's your average drive?
About 265, 270.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, you hit the ball farther than I do. Okay, great. So let's move on to the next question. What are some of your favorite players on the PGA Tour right now? Whether it's female, male, who's some of your favorite players?
So I really used to like Paula Creamer. She was like my idol when I was younger. I had the pink panther. I had the pink bag. I just wanted to be like her. I loved pink. That was my favorite color. And she just has a positive attitude, whether she's playing well or she's not. And I always loved that about her. So that was someone I looked up to. I wouldn't say I really have a favorite. I enjoy watching them all. I really like watching Tiger. You know, it's just amazing to see, especially when he can come back. I like Dustin Johnson. I played in his tournament last summer and I enjoy watching, or last March, and I enjoy watching him. I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I just enjoy watching.
Okay. You know, Dustin's my homeboy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's from Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a good, very good player. So how many hole-in-ones have you had, Bailey?
Just one.
Just one? Okay. Well, you know, you got some opportunities for more. And do you have any aspirations to be on the LPGA tour?
I do. I really pretty much want to see how college goes first.
Yes.
You know, I've thought about it a lot and it's never been a dream of mine. I was not saying when I was younger, I wasn't, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a professional golfer. It's really, I want to take it one step at a time. I really just want to be the best player I can be. And if I'm the best player I can be and that's on the professional tour, then that's great. And if it's not, then it's okay. I just want to see how college goes. And then if I'm going to attempt after college, and if I do well, then I do well. And if I don't, it's okay.
All right. Well, listen, Bailey, we're going to be rooting for you. We're going to be praying for you.
Thank you.
Because we need more of us out on the tour. And we thank you for coming on our podcast tonight. And we're going to open up the lines, Bailey, for a couple of questions. And you mind taking a couple of questions tonight?
No, that's fine.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so let's open up the lines. Anybody have any questions for Bailey? Future, University of Tennessee.
So you going to Tennessee, right?
Yes.
Do you have Instagram?
No, I have a Twitter.
You have a Twitter. Oh, y'all in the Twitter. All right, I need you to mentor a 14-year-old boy.
Are you Awesome's dad?
Yeah, I'm plugging him right now. Yep.
I used to watch that TV show all the time. I still watch it all the time.
Shh, we don't talk about that. But you're gonna be in college right when he coming to college. So Tennessee is on our radar. So you know,
I will say they just built a new practice facility.
I know they send me the stuff every day. I get it every day. They won't stop.
Yeah.
They won't stop sending me stuff. I mean, it looked nice though. I mean, I just see the cars and I saw the little YouTube video they sent me, but it looked like it's off the chain.
Yeah, it's amazing.
God, you watched the show? That's embarrassing. Okay.
Hey, that's ironic because every year around January, I ask Joshua, I say, give me your top 5 colleges you want to play golf, right?
Right.
And, you know, Tennessee has been on there the last three or 4 years. I think it was number one year. So now it's, I think it's Stanford, LSU, Oklahoma State, all that stuff. But I do the top 5 because kids, you know, at that age, just going back when he was, 7, right? They changed their mind. It's the flavor of the day.
Right.
But Tennessee was and still is on his list of schools. So, and I think also I have a cousin-in-law who's a professor at the University of Tennessee. So I'm thinking when Joshua was 3, we went to visit her, he saw that big T and orange colors and fell in love with Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere overall. I fell in love as soon as I went. I had done a bunch of visits. I'd gone to Kentucky, Miami, Louisville, Clemson, UNC, Ohio State. I'd gone everywhere. And I never really had that feeling, you know, that I was in love with the campus. But when I went to Tennessee, then I really fell in love. It just felt like that's where I belonged, you know?
I got a question. So it will be 2 black girls on that team. Is that correct?
She will be graduating the year.
Oh, she's graduating. So did she play today?
She's a senior. No, she didn't.
I was wondering. I was looking for her. All right.
Yeah, you was watching it too, Mark?
I tuned in for a little bit. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Bailey, I have a question. You know, I've been talking to some of the women on Symetra Tour, and I know some players on the LPGA Tour, but I was wondering, do you have any role models, and as far as that are currently playing Black role models in golf, are you connected with any of them?
No, not really. I don't really know them that well. I hear about them every once in a while, but nothing big. I have a really good friend, Amari Avery, who's out in California. Her and I are great friends, and we talk about it all the time, how, we want to be those people, to get on the tour and do something,
Yeah.
We're both African American, well, we're both biracial actually, and we want to go out there and do something and represent well. Someone that's on the tour right now, I really don't. I wish I did, but I don't.
No, and I ask that because that's one of the things that I've learned is that, a lot of these women like you, they come up and there's no one there to kind of pull them up or give them like a heads up. So, trying to figure out a way to connect everybody, because it just seems like to be a cycle now where it's like you're coming up and you should be connected to some of these women so that they can tell you what to look for, look to and expect. And it's just unfortunately, it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, Mariah Smith, she's at Tennessee right now. Her and I talk a lot. We talk about being African American and going to Tennessee and the golf wise and being the minority, but I don't know if she's going to continue her career after college, but her and I talk a lot. So I would say that's the closest I do have to a role model or someone I look up to or talk about things with. So
I'm going to try to connect you to LaCara Abe. She's currently on Symetra Tour, but I think, she's probably the closest to where you are or where you want to possibly go, because she's doing the Symetra Tour now and came from Alabama. So I'll try, if you don't mind, I would love
no, that's fine.
Okay.
Hey, Bailey, I got a question for you.
Yes.
How do you approach your season in terms of scheduling what tournaments you play in? Because one thing that I do with my son is whenever we get the schedule right, we do the West New York PGA Junior Tour. We do the RDGA, which is the Rochester District Golf Association. We also do U.S. Kids to qualify for Pinehurst, even though we didn't do it this past year due to COVID. But we lay that out, and then we kind of get an idea in terms of, time between tournaments, plus looking at the total cost, just in case someone may want to, write a check to say, hey, we got you covered for your schedule of tournaments for the year. I mean, how do you approach that? Do you look at it ahead of time, or you just pick and choose about a month, or you do the year outlook?
So my dad and I usually look at it together, well, and my mom, but we, so say in December of this year, we'd start looking at tournaments next year and we'd plan out the whole year. When I first started, I started with US Kids. I did there's a Mid-Atlantic tour around here that I played. And then I realized that I had to start going to longer distances. That's why I only played US Kids for about 2 to 3 years. So I started moving into the Hurricane and the college prep and things like that. But then once again, those distances weren't long enough. So I realized I had to move into even longer distances if I really wanted to be seen by colleges. And so that's when I started to move into the AJGAs. I never really did a lot of the qualifiers. I played maybe 2 AJGA qualifiers, but because I did so well in other tournaments like the Kathy Whitworth and the Arizona Silver Bell, I was able to qualify for those AJGA invitationals. So I would say during the summer, I have about 2 to 3 tournaments per month. The summer is obviously my busiest schedule. I have in the spring from January until April, I have about 1 per month. So I would obviously travel, like in January, I travel to Florida, February was California, March was South Carolina. So I obviously travel to a lot of different places and a lot of warmer places in the winter. But I would say, as long as you have a decent amount of practice time in between the tournaments, then you're fine. I will say that playing those bigger tournaments, it does help with college. They are more expensive. I know the AJGA is a lot more expensive than everything else. They are more expensive, but they are very beneficial.
Now, do you have a sponsor, or that's out of pocket with the family or whatever? How does
So Titleist and Nike, they both I receive clothes and shoes and stuff like that from Nike, and then I receive golf balls, hats, gloves, shoes from Titleist.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Let me put the time frame here. I'm thinking like in your teenage years, like probably 13, 14, because I'm speaking on behalf of my son who's now 13, turned 14 in December. But again, we now looking at we need to go outside of upstate New York, right? Because he's pretty much dominated up here, and he's gotten complacent. You know, with his competitors have become his buddies, which is now his Achilles heel, and so we need to expand, and that's why I asked about the schedule for the year and looking at it, and also venturing out from a funding perspective, right? Any sponsors or whatever.
I don't, not that I know of. I don't think so.
Okay.
Um,
And that's another question for the dads and parents here, right? And that is, you know, because I don't want to violate any NCAA rules or USGA amateur status in terms of, for example, what if I gave a golf tournament or just accepted donations from people who want to contribute to Joshua's, you know, to once I put together the schedule, here's what it's going to cost, right? And say, you know, make some contributions or whatever. Is there I want to make sure I'm not violating anything, right?
yeah,
So
that's
I don't
totally
know
understandable.
if the other parents on here, you know, when you travel, if you know, maybe you can shine some light on that, because this is new for me. I know what I want to do, need to do, but I want to make sure I don't
No,
violate any.
you can get whatever you want. You can get whatever you want, whatever you need. Ain't no violations. They
Okay.
If it's a donation, if it's helping with golf, that's not against no rules.
Okay.
You get whatever. They could give you whatever. They can't give you $100,000, but people get it. It's golfers that get it. People get money. Carl Phillips ain't paid for nothing in 20 years.
Wow.
So I mean, you know. But if you want more competition, you come on down to Texas.
Hey, what part of Texas?
We'll come wherever you want, whatever part you want to go to.
I'm overdue for a trip to Texas because I go to New Orleans and
come on. We'll be here. Dallas, Texas. You can stay with me. I got a room for you.
All right.
Hey,
sounds like a game plan.
Hey Bailey, when you come back to South Carolina, make sure you look us up. I want to get you out on a round with John. Okay.
Okay, I'll probably be there in March for the Dustin Johnson again.
Okay, beautiful. All right, let us know when you come down. Okay.
Also, Billy, what's the women's schedule in terms of tournaments? When does the season start? When does it end?
For me, it's pretty much year round.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. For University of Tennessee, when does the women's schedule start? Does it coincide with the men's schedule?
Yes.
Okay. So you start in the fall and go to the spring, or
well, so they would start normally not right now, obviously, but normally they would start like September and go until maybe November as their fall season. And then in the spring, they would start around February and go until May.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, Bradley. Okay. So any additional questions for Bailey? We got one more special guest and we got to pick it up a little bit. So any other questions for Bailey? We can take one more question.
Nope, just best of luck.
What was your best AJ you liked?
I like the Tournament of Champions down in Florida.
Oh, well, of course. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
all right. You got to make it to that one. All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, Bailey, thank you so much for being our guest tonight. Hope you had a great time. I know this won't be your last interview, and we'll be rooting for you. And we're looking forward to you doing very well this winter, this fall, this school year. And we'll be watching you at the University of Tennessee, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we've got another special guest that's going to close us out tonight. I had a chance to meet this gentleman at one of our AJGA qualifiers here in South Carolina, and we bonded, we clicked just like that. And so the person that I'm going to bring up, guys, his name is James Palmer. He's from the Combine Academy out of Charlotte, North Carolina, which is probably about an hour away from me. So let's give it up for Mr. James Palmer. What's going on, James? How you doing tonight?
Good, if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right.
So
Well,
James, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I got a couple of questions for you about the Combine Academy in Charlotte, North Carolina.
yeah. First, congratulations, Bailey. That's awesome that you're going to the University of Tennessee. Bravo. It's big time. And then Jamie, I'll ask you a question later that I had earlier. But I'm the executive director at Combine Academy, which is a sports academy similar to IMG Academy down in Florida. I used to work at IMG Academy as well. So then I transitioned to Combine Academy. They've been around since 2008. They have basketball, soccer, baseball, and they just added golf. So I'm starting the program with the golf right here in Charlotte. So then I met Ro at the first hurricane tournament of our year. I recruited 5 kids, and so I saw his boy, and we just started chatting it up.
Mm-hmm. So James, tell us a little bit about, why should a parent or a junior golfer consider the Combine Academy?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's tons of academies out there. You got Mike Mentor, you got IMG Academy, you got Gary Gilchrist. Now we have Combine Academy. There's huge advantages to go to a lot of these schools. Probably one of the biggest things that I see is that Bailey kind of mentioned it, is that you get to practice, right? One of the key things to get good is you got to prepare, you got to practice. No one ever said practicing too much hurts your game, so schools like this is very valuable for any athlete, especially golfers, because so much time. You get to go to school for half a day, and then you have your sport the rest of half the day. So then you can tournament play. All tournaments this fall, so I'm going to take them 12 different tournaments. I think Ro froze, but yeah. So tomorrow I'm leaving for Tennessee. Actually, we're going to play in the Nota Begay qualifier. And so I'm bringing 4 of my guys to go qualify for the Nota Begay tournament.
Awesome. And James, can you hear me okay? I know my screen froze. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. And so James, do you have to be a golfer that shoots below par or an elite golfer to come to the academy?
I prefer it, but you don't have to be. In golf, I mean, you can get good at golf very quickly, right? It's not like football, basketball, baseball where you got to be tall or fast. If you want to work hard at it and you want to listen to your coaches and take the instruction, you can get good at golf very quickly. So when I'm looking for golfers, one, if they're good, but also if they have the desire. Here's the problem. I get some really good golfers, but they don't have the desire. I was at IMG even, they good golfers, but they didn't really want to put in the work. So they're wasting their talent,
And the parents' money.
And I always get, what's that?
And the parents' money.
Exactly. And I'd always get after him. I was like, you should be good if you get to practice 8 hours a day, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be. Combine Academy is a lot more affordable too. All those other academies range between 80 to 100 grand a year. After scholarships, we bring our kids between only 15 to 20 grand a year. That includes boarding, food, and tournament expenses. So we actually don't make money on it, obviously, because travel expenses we got back from Florida. Right. So we're doing a lot of traveling.
Good. That's good. And talk a little bit about the diversity at your combine, James.
COVID, I was trying to recruit a lot of students of color to come here. COVID kind of hurt a lot of it. And plus being in Charlotte, I went to the Charlie Sifford Golf Course, met some young high school players and talked to their parents as well and tried to get them to come. It's hard because the biggest thing for a lot of American families is the parents just don't want them to come to a boarding school. But right now I have 5 kids, one's from France, one's from Canada, one's from New York, one's from Oregon, and one's a local kid. Wow. So I was able to get quite a few kids from all over in a short amount of time. Next year, I hope to really bring a lot more local kids right here from Atlanta, from Charlotte, and really grow the game. I think Jamie and I talked about it once, just diversify it, get them here at the combine. get them ready. We help them get recruited, and then they go on to college, and then hopefully pro ranks. So
James, another question I have for you. Do y'all have like a tour for a day just to kind of bring your kid up, just to let them see the environment, just maybe just to see what the typical day is like?
We didn't really have that the first year because we didn't have any kids yet. And so when I recruited the families, it was all virtual. We had to, virtually show them the campus. So that was the only way we could do it with COVID. But now that they're here, they got to see what we have. I mean, we're no IMG. We can't even, no place like IMG, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them have been to IMG for camps. So, but what we offer, what we deliver is good golf instruction, get them in tournaments, and then hopefully help them get recruited. As Bailey, well, probably not Bailey doesn't know, because it sounds like she was getting recruited very, very heavily at a bunch of schools. But for a lot of kids to get that exposure, you have to be at the right school. You have to play in the right tournaments. And if you're not getting that, it's hard to get recruited.
Right. And what's so talk to us, James, about the typical day at the combine, and just kind of walk us through what a typical day is like.
And they wake up, golf, they eat, and then they golf. And then it's a dream come true for any athlete. It really is. If you're passionate about basketball, baseball, or soccer, I mean, you literally get to wake up and play golf. You go to your classes. Classes are only half a day, and then you go play golf and practice. And then they have time in the evening to study, of course. And then they get to work with professional trainers to help with physical fitness. So that's really big for a lot of these kids, because most of them probably never even picked up a weight. So
oh, that's awesome. And what type of competitions do y'all typically go to?
Well, we did the Hurricane. We're doing AJGA. Mm-hmm. We do the National Junior Golf. We're going to Nota Big A one in Tennessee. So we've tried to, get the exposure that they didn't have where they lived. As Bailey mentioned, we kind of have to travel a little bit. Yeah. AJGA ones are always hard to get to, but you can still get the stars and the points through the other tournaments if you do well.
That's good. That's good. And before I open up the lines for some questions, James, is there anything else you'd like to share with us that you haven't covered so far?
I mean, if you guys have any kids who, are thinking about, really getting to the next level, combine or any academy like this can really help, because especially for boys and girls golf, getting that exposure and that tournament experience, we take that off your plate. Like Anthony mentioned about how do you build a schedule, and Bailey mentioned it, sitting down in December to come up with a whole year schedule. We do that for the families, and we do all the travel. We take them there and all that stuff. So that's off the plate of the families. And we're very strategic. We're going to make sure that we're going to help them with their rankings. So just like you don't want to play in too many tournaments because it might hurt you. Mm-hmm. So we're going to strategically do it to help in rankings.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, me and Lil John might have to come up there for a visit one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. All right,
we'll get around in.
Yeah. So let's open up the lines for some questions. And one more question for you too. What are the locations that the combine is currently? Just Charlotte only?
Yeah, we're actually in Lincolnton, which is about 45 minutes away from Charlotte. They used to have 6 or 7 campuses like in Atlanta, but just business-wise, just to have a central location made sense. But it was only basketball at the time. So, basketball, they can do that. Golf, I think it'd be a little more difficult to have all 4 sports that we have now.
Gotcha. Okay. So let's open up the lines. Any questions for James, head director at the Combine Academy?
Hey, James, how you doing? I got a question. What ages do you take kids?
We're in high school, 9 through 12, and then we got post-grad as well.
Okay, so 9 through 12. My question is, because I have a philosophy on academies, because I've had a lot of academies that have tried to recruit my son, including IMG.
Yeah.
How do you overcome the Black mother and father? Like, I can't send my son to Charlotte because I don't know y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it ain't nothing, no disrespect,
Yeah.
but it's like black folks don't really do that. Like,
Well, kind of.
hold on, let me finish one up. But like, and also, I don't see it work for boys. I don't see academy golf working for boys. I never see, when I go to AJ, I know all the kids, they always with their daddies or their moms.
Yeah.
The Asian kids be with their coaches.
Yeah.
I don't see academy kids excelling. I see kids like Bailey excelling, Amari excelling with idiotic dads like me, you know, and it's like, I just want to know how, like, what's different about y'all academy? Like,
Yeah.
that y'all take ninth graders, because by the time you get to ninth grade, I feel like it's too late for them to change their pattern unless they ain't no good. If they good, if they like my son, why would I switch?
Yeah.
And if they ain't like my son, then they probably ain't good enough to come to your academy.
Yeah.
Now, I get it for overseas kids who trying to get to America and they don't have no options. I get it. But can you explain that to me?
Yeah. Those are great points, actually. And those are things I always encounter when I talk to families.
Right.
So first, I mean, most academies, you see most of them are international kids. I mean, I think you've kind of noticed that. I worked at IMG, so I know what that was about. And so when it comes to talking to African-American families, you know, how to get the kids there, one, a big thing that I always say, I mean, we have basketball, baseball, soccer, and baseball. You know, most of those kids are non-white kids, right? And they're at boarding school and they have no problems in getting better. In fact, they get a lot better, you know, when they go academy. So I don't think it's any different for golf. The difference between us and other academies, I think, is that we want to keep it small. We're not trying to have 150 kids, right? And so we want to keep it small, so where we're actually coaching the kids, working with them, but not even just working on their golf swings, but their whole personality, everything. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I've learned about the kids I have right now is that they've never had a coach, right? They've had swing coaches, they've had their dads, but they've never had a coach, right? Meaning you got to get to practice on time. You got to, you know, and so you got to do all these things, not like military school, but there's a lot of things that you have to do that they have to obey. You know what I mean? So that piece, I think, helps. And someone's kind of struggling with it because they haven't had that kind of discipline needed to be successful. And so they're kind of learning that. I used to coach college at Johnson Wales University, and I took the team to nationals 3 years in a row. So we were really, really good. So I tell these kids, when you get to college, it's not going to be like you think it is, right? But a huge advantage for a lot of families, I think, is one, they're going to get the training, but also academic, they'll get it. But also we model the classes kind of like college courses so that when they go to college, they can adjust to college and being a student athlete. That's very difficult. Adjusting from a student to become a student athlete, very, very hard. And most boys, you know, they're not mature as girls. That transition from high school to college, especially if you have a sport, is very, very hard. And that's another reason why a lot of college coaches, if you look at a lot of college programs, a lot of them are international. Most of the time it's because a lot of those international kids are a lot more mature. So the coaches know exactly what they're going to get. Some of the American kids get that freshman year, they might struggle, you know, academic, athletically, you name it. It's very, very hard to kind of gauge how that kid's going to be. So an academy like this really helps them because it'll mature them. They're away from home, away from their parents.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And that's something. And I have seniors right now, and I'm struggling with the seniors even. I even told them, like, I feel like I'm coaching freshmen, right? With the exception of the kid from France, where he's a little more mature because his education was a little bit different.
And I think the one thing that you should add, James, to why people should come, or, you know, if they consider it, is because of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the other things are great, but you've got experience at the University of Miami. You got the, you know, experience at Johnson and Wales, and you were previously at IMG as well. So you know, you can't discount you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, at IMG there was very little diversity, and I think who is the girl that went there? I wasn't there when I worked there. We talked about her, Ro.
I can't.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
She had a sister, her brother played tennis or something. Or I can't remember. Or baseball or something. He played some sport. But yeah, when it came to diversity at IMG, it was very little. And that's one thing it was very little diversity on the staff even. So, that's why we all left, really. It's basically we just jumped ship after like a couple
You talking about Alan Kornikova?
What's that? No. What is her name? She didn't go to college. She went straight to try to be pro.
She on the tour now?
No, she's trying to get on Symmetric Tour. What's it?
No idea.
Yeah, I can't remember right now.
She's on Instagram a lot. Bro, you and I talked about her.
I can't remember. I apologize.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll come to us afterwards. Yeah. But there were very few students of color on the campus, African American. And when I was there, there's there's only one girl. And, to tell you the truth, I would always go talk to her to make sure she was okay, because I felt the coaches didn't give her the attention that they gave to everybody else.
Right.
I mean, that's just to be honest. I don't think they did a good job of making sure her whole well-being was being looked out after. And I don't think she got the attention she should have gotten for her golf swing either.
All right. James,
I lose you guys?
I think your screen is freezing up, James. Okay.
Oh.
All right. James, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's kind of freezing up a little bit. So, any other? Oh, there you go, James. You're back. Any other questions for James, y'all? IMG, former IMG, now Combine Academy executive.
Well, kind of back to this point of recruiting any American kid, it's very difficult to get them come to any boarding school. The biggest obstacle is not to be sexist or anything, is moms. However, when I started there, I thought it was going to be co-ed. Recruiting girls for boarding school is not hard. Before I even marketed the program, I probably had 20 girls try to come to Combine.
Wow.
They're ready to leave home and start golf. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a different dynamic when it comes to the girls golf and the boys golf for sure.
All right. Any other questions for James? Y'all? Any other questions for James Palmer? Okay. All right. Well, everybody, if we are all good, James, I think you wanted to cover one more thing. You wanted to ask Jamie a question, right? Jamie, you still there?
Oh, no, I mean, I can't even really remember it.
Okay, that's all right.
But I think I do want kind of on the work related and internship. One thing I do feel that, as you probably all know, being a caddy, a lot of the great golfers that came to a caddy system, you can learn the game quite a bit. Even I told young kids, one of my neighbors, she never played golf, told her to be a caddy. She became a caddy. The members gave her golf clubs free. She got a full ride scholarship to play golf for 4 years. She never played golf. Wow. All she said, she had interest. Yeah. But she got paid very well. I don't know if there's any caddy system that really helps to get kids in the game, but also going to start a pretty good career and learn the game pretty well. And a lot of the members, because I've been at a lot of private courses. I went to one in Trinity Forest. I think Jordan Spieth's a member there. And I met a lot of caddies. There was not a single African-American caddy in the whole program, in the whole system.
Wow.
So it was just all white kids who were making a lot of money.
Wow.
just carrying the bag. And I felt that should have been a good area where younger people get into the game and make money.
And James,
I don't know if Jamie has any connections with that or if that's part of what you guys are looking into. That was my question.
Okay. All right, James, you
For
kind
Damon.
of breaking up a little bit. But Jamie, anything you wanna cover on that?
Oh, did you hear it?
Yeah, no, I got the gist of what he was trying to say. I mean, yeah,
Oh, okay.
I will say through the Youth on Course program, from what I learned with the 2 interns that I talked with, both of them got to be at a private club and they did the caddy and the internship program. So they got and they got a scholarship from Youth on Course. I mean, they're doing everything to help these kids. And so they got their private club experience. And I don't think either one of them could have afforded to be a member, or their parents could have afforded to be a member of the private club. And one of them, who's now working to be a golf professional and plays well, he said the club he worked at, they even allowed him to play on the junior team. So he got to travel, work on his game, and compete with the country club kids. So, you know, there's definitely an opportunity there for minorities, and they're definitely looking for more minorities to help with this program. And also through caddying, what they said, and I've caddied, so I can say this from personal experience, that really helps a junior golfer's game, even if they're good golfers, because when you're actually having to tell someone else what they need to do or what's going on, you're paying attention to things that you don't always think of when you're playing by yourself. And that was something that one of the interns mentioned that he got out of the caddy program, is it was actually helping his game being a caddy for other people.
Beautiful. Thank you for that info, Jamie. Thank you. All right. Well, y'all, we are about to wrap up the podcast tonight. I want to thank our special guests. Thank Bailey. Want to thank James. Want to also thank Jamie. Thank y'all so much for coming on the Black Junior Golf Podcast. Y'all have a blessed night, and we'll see y'all on the course. Good night.